has chosen the storyline spread for your general monthly reading, which is a scattershot across the entire sign, telling 3, 4, or even 5 different stories for people going through different scenarios this month. The stories can be about any topic, so the floor is wide open. People say that often multiple stories do and will resonate with them, but the main goal of the storyline spread is to find that one story that is all about you. And that is what we're going to do today. Okay, Pisces, here we go with your storyline spread for January 2024. I'm going to read these stories from my right to left in reverse order in case you're looking at that picture on Facebook of your spread, so it makes sense. The reason that is because this first story here, that is going to be story 1, is very long, a lot of moving parts, and Spirit is quite brash and direct with you. So I just want to rip that Band-Aid right off and get moving, and we end on a very, very high note here too. So keep in mind, there's going to be a story in here that is right for you. Not all of them will be. We got 3 here today. So let's start at the beginning, shall we? This is probably for a woman. There is a lot of woman vibe in here, a lot of woman energy in here, but I don't want to narrow it down completely too tight, but this is a woman here who is looking to be completed. She is looking for completion and perhaps in the wrong places. If that sounds like you, that could very well be your story, but bear with me, we got more details coming. Not just about completion, but she doesn't like to be alone, okay? This is somebody who does not either do well on their own, doesn't like to be alone, or just likes to be around others. And if, that can be a good thing to a point, but it's a double-edged sword. It can also be bad. You got to be independent. You got to spend time away from your partner too. You got to give each other space to miss each other, all that kind of stuff. Too much of anything in life is usually not very good. So that's the kind of energy we start with. Group energy coming in here, and we're looking for that completion. Now, what they show this person does is they have a really hard time learning from their lessons. So it makes me feel like they've been through kind of the same thing over and over. That sounds like you. You're in the right spot. Here we go. So that is what they're talking about here mostly. Okay, that's getting you to attach to figure out if this story is about you. Now let's talk about what to do about it. First of all, the universe is going to keep testing you here with this card. This is my 10 of Wands, okay? This is the guy carrying like 10 rods, 10 sticks with him, and each stick is supposed to represent a lesson that you've learned. You're supposed to learn from these lessons so you don't keep making the same mistakes over and over. Of course, that's no good for you or anybody else. Now, when they show this card inverted and flipped around, this is more likely them saying, you know what? You have the lessons, but you're not putting the lessons into use. You're not putting them into play. Well, why is that? Why not? Okay, so figure this out. Easier said than done, right? But that's where we start. Okay, so let's get into what to do about it. The first thing they show here in response to that is they show nurturing the love corner. So this is somebody who is very aware that the love corner is a concern or a focus or something that is, in January at the very least, a prominent figure of your month, okay? Nurturing the love corner. Love corner is a big place. It's not just your love and relationships. That could be talking about family here, dynamics with other people that you care about and love very deeply, even friends, pets, the whole 9 yards. The next thing they showed next to that is my star card. It's coming in inverted, so it's letting me know this is not fated. This is not destiny. You might feel, and if you're hearing my story here with story 1, you might feel in this situation that, this is just the way it is. This is just the way it is for me. This is the way the cards have been dealt. I'm just going to have to go through this forever or go deal with this person's issues forever. Spirit here is saying, no, it's completely your choice here. This can also be putting the power back in your corner in January here too, saying, you know what? You're going to make January what you're going to make it. We're stepping back. We're going to see what you do with it here. We're going to see what you do with these lessons that you've already learned. You've already been through the course. Okay, now it's time to take the test. That's what they show. Now, the main concern here is building blocks. This is really what you need to do about it. This is my Oracle Angel card, and it's basically construction. It's just like, imagine like Legos or any kind of other blocks being built up, even cinder blocks for a house, okay? You're building things up with purpose, with intent. That is what you need to be doing here, and if you're not, you need to switch that around right now. Like 2024, it really probably should have done before. But you know what? No better time than the present, guys. Got to get to it. Building blocks. What are you trying to build here? Do the things that you are putting into your life or allowing into your life, do they fit this plan? Do they fit this blueprint? Are they helping you build what you're trying to build? If not, you know what the answer is. And you know what the advice also is. The next thing they show here is action. Now, it's weird because it's a wand, so I feel like Normally that would point me into work corner, action in the work corner, but I feel like that's not the case here. What they're trying to say, I think, is that they're saying you need to take action to do the work. Like, do either the mental work to figure it out, maybe talk to a therapist, talk to a friend, talk to somebody you trust, an outside source of some kind. Okay, so do the work. Maybe it's even just, maybe you can just do some journaling, you can do some deep inner reflection, something like that. Figure this thing out is what they're saying. So that's the action that I believe that they want you to take, because they show that you have a hard time dealing with this. You have a hard time overcoming this, and we just need to get this weakness turned around into strength. It's really just a flip of a card for me. Easier said on my side of the table, right? But anyway, this is Spirit telling you that you can do this. And when can you do this? January. There we go, story 1. Okay, guys, let me take a moment here to tell you about the reformatting of your general monthly readings, as well as a few very exciting updates that are coming. The first thing you've probably already noticed is that the overhead camera has been removed from your spread. This saves us about 4 or 5 minutes. If looking at the cards, though, is something that you're interested in, I am posting the picture, a snapshot overhead view from the spread that I'm doing for every sign. You can find that on Facebook. Also on Facebook, you'll be able to find the printout for chemistry tracking for your month. And this is also posted on my website. Chemistry tracking basically shows what sign is going to be vibing well with your sign in the month, as well as what sign or signs will be repelling, kind of opposite energy. What sign you're going to be kicking well with and what sign you're not so much. Moon Cycle cheat sheet will also be posted on scottsagent.com on the Talking About page, and also Moon Cycle will be included in your reading, along with the Rune Stone, and along with Homily. All the things that you've grown to love will still be in your reading. You're getting an extra thing here, though, because every single sign is getting angel protection at the end of your reading. This is an extra angel card, just a little extra information from Spirit about your month. However, all the spreads that I called extra spreads, stuff like telling time, yes or no, chakra scrub, health scrub, stuff like that, animal totems, all that good stuff, those are all extra spreads. Those are going to be moved into what I call urgent readings. Urgent readings are going to be posted the very first week of the month. If Spirit requested one, about half of the signs get these. So that's going to be very important to look out for. Those will be posted everywhere, but of course all the newest updates will be posted on scottsagent.com first. The last thing I want to share with you today is that the quadrants video is coming. January 3rd is the date, and that is the quadrants video for your sign. And this forecasts information for the entire year. It is some of my most popular videos and audio products as well. So quadrants is something you do not want to miss. That'll be everywhere January 3rd. What is a quadrant? Well, a quadrant forecast for your entire year broken up into 4 different pieces. And we're going to be talking about things like work, health, love, money, planning and preparation for vacations, relaxation, when the best quadrant is for you guys to get busy and be productive, when is the best quadrant to play it safe, and when is the best quadrant for risks. We're going to be looking at themes for the different quadrants, a whole bunch of information that you guys will be able to obtain from these readings, so do not miss the quadrants dropping January 3rd. And for January only, Quadrants is available as a personal audio product, a personal reading done just for you, looking at the planning and preparation for your year, going through all of the same topics, but just making it that much more accurate for you. It is one of my most popular products, and it is only available in January, so do not wait to book your Quadrants reading. scottsagent.com. Let's get into story 2, guys. Story 2, we talk about, very short story here, by the way. They talk about little problems. So if you are a Pisces who is just dealing with little things here and there, relatively in pretty good standing, not a lot going on, not a lot to see here, less is more, this could very well be your story. Now what they show is that even if this little squabbling seems like no big deal to you, it has a potential to turn into that. But here's what you need to do about the little things you got to do. They're telling you to really dig in here. Like, this is my card. It's my 8 of Cups that if it was turned the other way, they would be talking about leaving something behind here and not looking back. Like, it's gone, not looking back, full steam ahead forward. Reversed, it's the opposite of that. So they're saying not leave something behind here, is that you need to be kind of in it to win it. And here's what the key is: never-ending story. That is my Oracle Angel card. So this is something that has just you've been through so many times, especially if this is work, guys, because the storyline spread can be about any topic, right? So here in story 2, since they gave me a wand to start with, I feel like a very prominent push is toward work. So if, you've been dealing with little things at work and you're expecting these to get better, they're probably not, especially in January. They're just not going to get better. These little things that you're dealing with are just going to be continuous. They're going to be consistent. Okay, so that lets you know a lot of information, really, that it's a never-ending story. That helps in a great way because that lets you know what to do about it. I mean, you have to decide for yourself. Okay, well, if it's going to be like this forever. For example, let's say you're in a position where you're not getting promoted. You're just spinning your wheels. You're not going anywhere. You're dealing with just little problems. It's not a big deal. Just little stuff, right? Well, now Spirit here is telling you in story 2 that, that's just the way it's going to be. So that lets you know, well, what are you going to do about it? You going to stay? A very valid choice to do that if you so choose. Or are you going to look for something different? Also a very valid, reputable choice. I mean, there's no wrong to do here, but what they're doing is giving you extra information so you can make the best choice for you, knowing that it is not going to improve. So by sticking with it, being in it to win it, you know what you're marrying into here. It's like that's just a fine choice, but you're marrying into small problems. And for some people, that would be a win, really, because some people deal with very big problems. And here, showing a small problem, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. There we go, story 2. Story 3, Pisces. This is the one I hope you guys are. If you are or not, I do not know, but the first thing they bring in is the Empress. This is a card, very, very divine, feminine energy here. It is a card about fertile ground. It can represent pregnancy, fertility in the physical plane. If somebody just opened a business, that would be it being fertile too. It's like when something becomes physical, real world, something you can touch. So it's not an idea. It is not an emotion. It's not a feeling. This is something you can touch. This is real. That's what they talk about here. New realness, new physicalness coming in your story 3. That's the first thing they bring up. And this is also a good time for my women if you're here in story 3. I guess you don't know yet. And they did a bad job of giving us information here because they gave us 3 major arcana cards. Very bad with details. But what it does do a good job of is impressing upon us how large of a deal this is here in story 3. This is a pretty big deal. And it's wonderful energy. We have the Sun card. So we have golden Pisces energy all over the place. I'm throwing that out at you right now because anytime I got the Sun card on upright, that's what I do in my readings because it's huge. It is just gold, wonderful energy everywhere. So this situation is wonderful, especially for my women here in story 3 to really improve your feminine health, do something new. The ground is very fertile, very ripe for a lot of different things. And in a general reading, it's very hard to pinpoint anyway, and that is why you need a personal private reading, messages that are personal, specific only to you. I offer a wide variety of those on my website, scottsagent.com, all the way from small, all the way up to full service. The other thing they talk about here is the Justice card that comes in. So this has a couple different definitions. One of these can be something legal. If you're here in story 3, there may be a legal dispute or going through something legal, a contract, an agreement, anything you put your signature on could be coming up here in January very prevalently, but it's looking good from my perspective. Otherwise, they would have shown me the Justice turned around. And since I'm not looking at it that way, I view it as a good justice. Okay, not an injustice, a good justice. This can also be a definition of karma that is returning to you. In this case, I would imagine it would be good karma. All the stuff you put out there is coming back to you in January. Hopefully it's good stuff. Bad stuff comes back too. That's kind of the rule of karma, the karmic rule of the universe, of natural law, but that's what they show here. So we got Justice there. And then we end with our Oracle Angel card, which is exchanging gifts. So Spirit wants to remind you, Pisces, here in story 3, especially the ones who are in really great shape here with the Sun energy, looking so good, your month, your year really starting out so good. You don't want to keep it all in, okay? You want to give and take. Don't do too much taking. Also, don't do too much giving, okay? Some people have a tendency to be too much of a giver, give away the farm, so to speak. Give away their energy way too much, okay? So we got to have a nice balance here. That's what Spirit's saying with our exchanging gifts, give and take energy. And this is not just give and take directly. This can be energetic as well, like helping out somebody. Of course, that doesn't cost you a thing to do. That is your time, okay? That is arguably, and in my opinion, the most sacred thing there is because you don't get any more of it. Very fine commodity that is. So there we go, story 3. Now we end with a runestone and Oracle Angel card. Angel protection is everybody's getting an extra one of those. Let's do that first. They bring in To the Sea, guys. to the sea, and that's SEA, like the ocean, to the water. For some of you, Spirit may be directing you to the coastline or to the water, something like that, giving you some kind of a message about that. For everybody else, this is going to be, especially my story one folks, this is going to be a card that is very much about moving forward in a positive direction. Even if you feel like things are not going in a positive direction, Spirit here is saying it actually is, okay? It's the trajectory. It's just, they show a woman in a boat in the ocean. And she's kind of got her head down. She's draped down like, oh, I don't think I'm going anywhere. I don't think this is working out. You got to trust the current. You got to trust the tides. There's so much you can control, and then there's so much you got to leave to God, right? So here they show to the sea. Things are moving in a good direction, even if you don't feel necessarily like they are right now. You got to stick with it. You got to bear the brunt sometimes to get through to the good stuff. Now, let's get your runestone. Well, I'd show it to you, but there's really not much to show because this is the runestone of unknowable. It's just a blank, and that's basically to give Spirit ammunition to say, hey, you know what? We're good. That's all the information they need. You're good, Scott. You can let them go. So now I am going to let you go. I'm going to let you go into the moon cycles as well as a very special homily. Okay guys, it is moon cycles forecast time. Let's talk about these lunar energies that are all around us anyways, so we can use it to our benefit, implement some positive change into your month. Well, the first thing you need to understand is whether these energies are coming in or going out. Just like the tides, the moon has control of that. In the same way, you can use it too. The first thing that hits chronologically this month is the new moon. You're going to see all the text information on your screen, any rare occurrences, as well as the date. Now, this is a target date for the new moon. It doesn't have to be done on this date, guys. I really like to bracket a few days before and a few days after to get a very powerful week where you can bring new things into your life and really manifest. If it is NEW, it's not there before, brand new, this is the best time to bring it into your life. Something new financially, maybe something new with work, new love, new health. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's new, this is the best time of the month to work on these things, really help bring it in. Adversely, the full moon, the opposite energy, the energy going out, hits on this date on your screen. And of course, the same rules apply. It doesn't have to be done on this date. We're talking about a week window, a few days on each side of it here. When this energy is very strong going out, and the energy going out is the best time to get things out of your life that don't belong there or that you don't want there, something that's got control of you or hold of you that you don't want. Maybe something like a bad habit, maybe emotional baggage, a bill that's got to go. That would be something financially, maybe something with health, maybe an eating habit that's got to go. It doesn't matter if it's got to go. The full moon is your best bet to get this change to stick. If any of this has confused you, I've put together a moon cycle cheat sheet. I do it every single month. It is free. It is on the website, guys. You can check it out very easily. It is a little graphic illustration, a tool that you can use so you can kind of see these changes moving in and moving out, so you can align things in your month to it to really get them to stick, implement some great positive changes. Now let's get into your homily. Hey guys, this is Scott Sagent here for your January 2024 edition of Homily. And for this month's homily, starting the new year, I thought it would be fun if we did a little thought experiment here, so that is why you cannot see me right now. And that's okay, because I cannot see you either. It's actually not necessary. You can hear my voice, and that is all you're going to need in this exercise. It's a little thought experiment called the Ideal You. So go ahead and take this opportunity, since it's going to be a closed eye kind of a meditation. Take this opportunity to find a little couch, a comfortable spot, a recliner, a bed, a sofa, whatever it is for you. Get nice and comfortable where you can shut your eyes for a few minutes. If you're driving, you know what? Probably don't participate. I think that would be a bad idea. Maybe you can come back and check this homily out at a safer time for you. But for everybody else, let's get started with the Ideal You experiment. The very first thing I want you to consider and think about is what you would rate yourself here on a scale of 1 to 10, kind of where your placement is in life, how you have attained your goals over the last few years, if you're where you want to be, if you're nowhere close to where you want to be, the way that you present yourself, the way that others perceive you, all of these things. I'm just giving you a few examples of, obviously it's a much bigger umbrella, and whatever it is for you, the way that you come up with your rating system is just fine, but come up with a number to where you feel like you are at right now. Okay, so remember that number, but also throw it away. We're not going to need it for a while. Right now, we're not going to concern ourselves with future goals. We're really just worrying about the present, right here, right now. What does your ideal you look like right now? How do they dress? How do they carry themselves? How do they act around people? How are they perceived by people? How are they perceived in the workplace? All this kind of thing. You have to visualize it to make it come true. So this is a visual aspect that I would like you to consider right now. And be very, very specific about your visualization. Think very deeply about the details. How this person wears their nails, what kind of jewelry they wear, what do they dress like, what kind of body language do they put out, how do they speak, what kind of tone, do they smile easily, how big, are they warm to others? This is your ideal you that I would like you to consider, visualize, and hang on to that visual. Now take this energy signature, this whole idea that you just constructed in your mind and put together and puzzle pieced together. Maybe some of you duct tape and super glued it together. It doesn't matter. Take this energy signature here, and what we're going to do is we're going to expand it. We're going to make it much, much larger. However you viewed it before, we're going to multiply this times like 100, times 1,000, times whatever it is that this sucker is huge. Whether it's a visual of you or a goal or what it is, we're going to make it massive. So think about it getting bigger, 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 and much, much bigger than even that. Now maybe some of you have made this so big that you have to zoom out just to be able to see the whole picture anymore, and that's just fine. But now we're going to adjust and tune the contrast. We're going to tune some settings here. So adjust that contrast. We're going to make everything very bright. All those colors are going to get vibrant and very, very sharp. There is going to be no dull colors here at all. Everything is super bright, full of contrast. Once you're done tweaking that, now we're going to tweak the brightness. We're going to make it bright, all the way fully bright as you can go before it hits white. So now these colors are not just bright, but they are almost blinding, and they are so sharp. The final setting that we're going to tweak is frequency. We're going to turn that frequency knob all the way up to high. You cannot hear frequency here, but you almost can, because as you turn it up high, you can see this picture shaking, vibrating. You can feel it very deeply in your bones. This frequency is being turned up high. You are raising the level of your energy signature of what you've created. I picture this ringing like a champagne glass, and once you've got this frequency all the way turned up, your brightness and your contrast all the way turned up, your energy signature, we want to blow it up, and not just blow it up to get rid of it, but we're going to blow it up and expand it out in every direction, just like a supernova, a star exploding, and we are going to mentally just shoot this whole entire signature that you've created everywhere, little bits and pieces of it fragmented everywhere, every which way, and it's just dropping down like snow, falling a little bit here, a little bit there, and visualize how people are reacting to this version of you. As we wrap up your January homily and conclude our thought experiment, I have two final questions for you. Number one, rate yourself again, how you feel right now. I want to know how you feel, how this makes you feel, your ideal you being everywhere. What is your rating now? I don't care what it was before. How do you feel right now? Most people, general consensus, bump up their first number after an experiment like this of 1 or 2 points. Maybe you're experiencing that. Maybe you boost it even higher. Maybe you stayed the same. I'm not exactly sure, but the consensus is that most people do raise up just from this couple minutes of this idea processing in their mind. And visualization is key for manifestation. It is the only way that it is brought into the physical realm and made real. So now you have the tools. You know how to make this energy signature. And if you can bump your rating and feel that much better about your future right now in the present moment, imagine in just a couple of minutes, imagine if you were to do this every day. This is helping you to get to that goal, to get to that place, to get to your ideal you. It's not a future deal. It's a present deal. All this work is done in the present. And this is just one tool to help you get to that point. Hopefully, January 2024 here in your homily is a good bridge to get you there. So I hope you've enjoyed the readings and your homily. Thank you all so much. Have a great January 2024. I know you will.
So I guess the fortune teller's right.